Riding down a dangerous highway, fighting for first place while outrunning the cops never felt so good as it did from the comfort of your own home. Electronic Arts brought us the high-speed motorcycle mayhem game Road Rash back in 1991, and there were several sequels until 1999. And for millions of us, we've been waiting 30 years out there on the road waiting for a proper successor. Welcome to the Game Closet. I am sure that if you clicked on this video, you are a fan of the Road Rash series of games. While there were 3 Road Rash titles on the Sega Genesis, and some of those games were on other consoles as well, the game that stands out to me is the series reboot, well, I'll call it a reboot, on later consoles like the 3DO and ports to the Sega Saturn, and of course the mighty Sony PlayStation. So let's have a look at what was arguably the last good Road Rash game before Electronic Arts wiped out one of its most awesome franchises. Never to be heard of again. Well, sort of. For me? He think... In 1994, EA decided to hit the ground running on the 5th generation of consoles with a new Road Apples game. I'm sorry, not Road Apples, I meant Road Rash. EA made a new Road Rash game replete with full motion video and a rock and roll grunge soundtrack. That I can't let you hear, of course. I'm sorry, Soundgarden. Aww. They also incorporated live action actors in the form of sprites for your ass-kicking, speed-loving pleasure. I personally owned a 3DO at the time and bought the game with my console. That was an expensive day, let me tell you. The 3DO wasn't cheap, and I bought 3 or 4 games that day with it. I am certain that MasterCard was helping me master the possibilities until my income tax refund materialized a few months later. Later on, I bought a Sega Saturn, and like clockwork, I predictably purchased Road Rash for the Saturn as well. And when it came time for me to buy a PlayStation, what do you think I did? I'd like to buy this PlayStation game, please. Here, take my money. Take it. Well, I can't say I spent my money wisely, but at least I knew what I liked. At least I wasn't buying hookers and blow, right?
God, you girls are so great.
This is the PlayStation 1 port of the 1994 3DO game. Now, that game received great critical reception, and the ports that came months to years later got hit hard by critics for not having innovated the game at all, even though their graphics may have been a little more polished. So don't flip your shit and think you need one version over another.
Why not?
To be frank with you, the 3 console versions all pretty much play the same. I feel the Saturn and PlayStation ports both have great selling points for those fans of those consoles. But that all said, if you are playing one version of the game over the other, you are generally going to get roughly the same experience. Unless you just feel the need to spend money. Please take my money, you greedy, stupid bastards! Take my damn money!
Take my money!
This 1994 iteration of Road Rash is my personal favorite, and many gamers have that same opinion. Now, in all honesty, I like the Sega Genesis original Road Rash over Road Rash 3 in many respects. The graphics are better in my opinion, but we're not here to pick on the finer or lesser points of the Genesis games. Let's save that for a future video. Maybe. There were 3 Road Rash sequels after 1994's Road Rash. There was Road Rash 3D, Road Rash Jailbreak, and Road Rash 64. The 2 former sequels are inferior to the 1994 game, but I just didn't like Road Rash 64 at all. Now, I apologize to my friend Mysticles, as he loves that game, and he's entitled to love that game for all it's worth to him, even though he's wrong.
It is no laughing matter.
I am so sorry, Count. I have offended you with my ignorance. I apologize. Just a quick sidebar here. Graphically, the Windows port is far superior to the console version, but inferior sound-wise in my opinion. I don't have a copy to show you, but we're talking consoles only here, and this video is not a comparison video, so take that with a grain of salt or whatever. Back to this Road Rash. There are 2 game modes. Thrash mode, which is the arcade version of Road Rash. It's straightforward racing against other bikers, and that's it. And there is big game mode, where you pick your own character or alias, a jalopy of a rat bike, a few bucks in your pocket, and you race against other bikers to win cash to upgrade your bike in the bike shop. If you get busted by the police, you will be jailed and fined too. The big difference is that you get to accumulate cash and upgrade your bike, and that's pretty much it essentially. As this infamous motorcycle rider, you race against a motley crew of rival bike riders in 5 different California area races: the City, Sierra Nevada, the Peninsula, Napa Valley, and the infamous Pacific Highway. These bikers aren't nice either. They will come at you with weapons like bats, crowbars, chains, or just a good old swift kick or backhand to the face. In turn, you can take their weapons from them and use them against your rivals. Now, nothing is more satisfying than smashing someone in the face or kicking them off their bike and watching them wipe out. As you are racing your way to the finish line, there are pedestrians and fallen bikers that can get in the way, as well as other automobiles. And we can't forget the police. No, not those police. I mean the officers on motorcycles who chase you in-game and that will bust you. If you are playing big game mode, this also gets you a fine, get fined too many times, and if your bank account hits 0, your road rashing days are over. Now let's talk briefly about strategy. Now, not all strategies are created equally. Some may play the game just thinking about getting from the start to the finish line and kick everyone's butts along the way. Now that could end you up over the hood of a car or tossed behind bars real quickly. Sure, it's fun, but that won't guarantee you getting the accolades that you deserve by your fellow rashers. Of course, if you play the game enough and you study the tracks, you will see that there are shortcuts on the tracks. They come up quickly, so you'll need to learn where they are on the tracks in order to use them. These hidden paths can significantly shave off time and give you a competitive edge. The strategy I usually employ is just keeping my head down, don't get into too many fights along the way, and just head for the finish line. If I want to cause some chaos and not worry about winning, I can do that too, but I'd rather save that aggression for Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any fun and just race. There are actual racing games out there for just racing. This is Road Rash. It wouldn't be fun unless you were wiping out one of the cops occasionally, right? Ah, he's okay. I called the hospital to check on him, sent some flowers, and I dated his wife for a while. There have been games since this iteration of Road Rash, and none of them have been able to meet the rubber to the road quite the same way, either critically or where it counts financially. Road Rash Jailbreak was the last entry from Electronic Arts, and the 1999 Road Rash 64 was the last entry of Road Rash, and that one was by THQ. Oh boy. And unfortunately, that was the last time the bikes were taken out for a spin. And that, my friends, was 25 years ago. In 2017, a spiritual successor of sorts, Road Redemption, came speeding down the highway on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and later on the Nintendo Switch. It was developed by Pixel Dash Studios, and it was the brainchild of Paul Fish, Ian Fish, and Jason Tate. Is it as awesome as Road Rash 94? Is it a decent enough game for you to jump into it? Well, I will let Game Closet's review of Road Redemption help you decide that. There will be a link right here for you to check that video out, and here's another great link for you to check out as well. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the fists flying. Peace out.